Raphael churns in the Gulf, more active weather for our area this weekend, and we'll all be monitoring for potential tropical development next week. Your forecast across the Caribbean and the Bahamas starts right now.
This is Meteo Mundo.
Hi friends, Rusty back here at Meteo Mundo. We're your home for Caribbean weather. Nice to see you on a Friday. Hope you're doing well as we move into the weekend. A lot to get into here. We'll talk about a powerful, compact Hurricane Raphael in the south central Gulf of Mexico, where it's moving. Active weather again for a lot of our area, including a big blow-up of showers and storms in portions of the Lesser Antilles. What this area will be doing over the weekend, and the areas I'll be watching for potential development next week. As always, I'd love to hear from you guys. Let me know in the comment section below where you're viewing from, what the weather has been like in your area. Let's break this down with our surface analysis. We have Hurricane Raphael here in the south central Gulf. A lot more to talk about with that coming up. We have our trough here. That's the yellow area with just a 10% chance of development for the Hurricane Center, but very active weather, a lot of lift in the atmosphere and spin. And you combine that with that feature moving over the Greater Antilles with this tropical wave that has been moving across the Lesser Antilles on this Friday. And the Eastern Caribbean has just been lighting up with very heavy rainfall, gusty winds, even some thunderstorm activity. So again, just really active, turbulent weather in these areas. What do you say we get started with what's been happening today in the Dominican Republic and Haiti? Again, our broad center of circulation located just off the northern coastline of the Dominican Republic. This is going to spread some rain and wind into places like the Turks and the Caicos and the southeast Bahamas. But again, not really expecting this to wrap up and become a tropical system. Regardless, a large area of rain and showers and breeze will continue across the area. You can see that spin clearly over Haiti and the Dominican Republic at the hour, where again, we've had some active weather from time to time, but we also had a beautiful start to the day. Raymond sending us this photo from the Samana Peninsula there on the northern coastline of the Dominican Republic. Says we're looking to the east from this photo. Said he had a lot of rain yesterday. Sun came out this morning and we're back into some cloud cover, some showers for today. Appreciate Raymond sending in that lovely shot. Again, it just doesn't have to be the nasty weather here to send the photos in. We love some of those beautiful pictures as well. Showers will continue to spin into portions of Haiti as well. And again, this will just continue to be the trend for us here. It's tried to get a little bit quieter for today in Puerto Rico, in the U.S. and the British Virgin Islands as well. From time to time, we've had some gusty winds here and some passing showers, but relatively speaking, we've done okay. Now look, that being said, there's still a flood watch for Puerto Rico. We still have to watch out for heavy rain inundation continuing over this area. This is going to be a spot, guys, where rain chances are going to be exceptionally high the next several days. I'm talking about the Turks and Caicos, Haiti, the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, the U.S. and British Virgin Islands, where passing showers have continued to move across St. Thomas and St. John and St. Croix and Road Town, Virgin Gorda, Tortola areas, Anegada throughout the day. It's the same situation through the Lesser Antilles as well. Look at all of these hefty showers and storms developing. We'll talk about Barbados in a minute. They got hammered on this Friday, but we'll start off in the Leeward Islands for today. And again, passing showers near Anguilla, St. Martin, St. Bart's, Sabas, St. Kitts, and Nevis. Not the most active weather today. We've had a few rounds of showers trying to develop over places like Antigua and Barbuda. They've had a few areas of gusty winds there, but in general, because the tropical wave is more prominent south, the farther you go in the Lesser Antilles, the wetter and stormier it has been for today. The showers developing over Dominica. Look at the heavy rain and storms over Martinique at the hour. Same thing for St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Barbados, flood watch for you. Winds in Bridgetown today were over 40 miles an hour. And now that blow up of storms is moving right over St. Lucia and portions of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This is going to be some heavy, heavy rain moving over these areas late on this Friday. So get prepared for that. And that moisture plume comes all the way back down just east of Trinidad and Tobago. We've already had some developing showers and a few storms near that area. You can see the southwest side of Tobago there with a gust of over 20 miles an hour. More moisture filling in. This is just going to be an active time here, guys, where rain chances through the eastern Caribbean will stay on the higher side. Nueva Esparta trying to catch some showers. Look at my friends in the ABC Islands. Take a look at these storms developing and then moving to the north. There is a high opportunity for Aruba, Curacao, and Bonaire to catch some rain and storms late on this Friday and to run it back over portions of the weekend as well. Active weather to the east of Belize and the Yucatan for today. Again, we're looking pretty good here. Some scattered showers have tried to sneak back into the far western Caribbean, but as has been the case the last several days, it's Honduras, but especially Nicaragua, portions of Costa Rica and Panama where it's raining cats and dogs. I mean, very wet weather, flooding. You have to watch out for the low-lying areas, even some landslides and mudslides. Just prominent activity here each and every day. My friends in Jamaica said you guys had some pretty active weather on our Thursday. We're trying to spot a few showers and an isolated thunderstorm on this late Friday. It's been relatively quieter for today across the island. See a little storm try to develop right over the Kingston area earlier this afternoon. You can see that lightning, right? If I pause this real quickly here, if I pause this and I bring that back, you can see just a little bit of that lightning developing in the earlier afternoon hours, but relatively speaking, the island has been tranquil for today. Same thing for our friends in the Cayman Islands. Northern sides of the Bahamas have been quiet for today as well. Again, some gusty winds in southeast Florida, but relatively speaking, it's been a pretty nice day here across the area. Let's get into the forecast, friends. As we do so, appreciate you guys liking the video, subscribing to Meteo Mundo. Really appreciate our Meteo Mundo weather community. Thank you for sharing this with your family and friends, and of course, finding ways to support me here at the channel as well. So now we're going to break down the forecast, okay? Now, the first thing I want to talk about, obviously, is real quickly what's going on with Raphael, and then we'll break down the forecast island by island for the weekend, all right? Raphael is a very interesting storm, okay? It's a Category 2 hurricane. It's a very compact, small storm. But you can clearly see the southwest wind shear beginning to pull the storm apart. You can see that elongation there to the north and to the east. So we're starting to see the wind shear beginning to impact the storm. Not expecting it to hold the strength that it has for much longer. And again, we're putting the brakes on the forward movement. This is all good news for the Gulf Coast of the United States. Now, slowly, this should pivot and bend back south and west. And again, it could sneak into the southwest Gulf of Mexico, but it's also forecast to blow its top and not become any stronger. I can't rule out some showers and some rain reaching the Yucatan and portions of the Gulf coastline of Mexico. It'll kick up some sea conditions across the Gulf as well, but any real big impacts, I'm not expecting, considering the fact that this is a near major hurricane, which is already in the south central Gulf of Mexico, and that I'm not putting more emphasis on it is a good sign. Clearly, but the fact that it's a Cat 2 as we head towards mid-November is something else as well. So again, we're going to continue to see active weather here through the Lesser Antilles, portions of the Greater Antilles. Again, I don't expect this spin to develop, but that being said, again, a lot of lift, a lot of turbulence in the atmosphere. All right, so we can't rule out heavier downpours. We can't rule out water spouts. We have really high rough surf and sea conditions in a lot of areas as well. So we'll talk about the weekend and then we'll get into the tropical update. But the first thing we'll just do is kind of look at the next 3 days through Monday. All right, we'll start off again the areas that I expect to just stay wet, and that's going to be the Lesser Antilles from Anguilla all the way back down to the Windward Islands. Showers will be prolific, pockets of heavier rain and some storms, and it's just going to be wet. Again, a high-end chance in most areas each and every day. Won't just wait till the afternoon hours. We'll have some overnight showers and storms as well. They'll be a little bit more prominent in the afternoon hours, but you can clearly see all the way up to the U.S. and British Virgin Islands. Look at that pocket of moisture just redevelop over the day here. Again, today is the 8th as we get into Saturday the 9th. This is Saturday afternoon, so let's just zoom in a little bit here and you can see what's going on in St. Thomas and St. Croix and St. John and Vieques and Culebra. Tomorrow afternoon on our Saturday, just expect it to be wet. That's why the flood watch is in effect. This is late Saturday into early on Sunday, and that rain just becomes more prolific and it just sits. It's not really going to move. Then Sunday could be relatively wet, and even portions of Monday. We might dry out a touch on Monday, but not much. Just get ready for a continued active pattern here for us, guys. And again, what we're doing is we're pulling in a lot of moisture from the south around the counterclockwise spin of this broad low, this trough, as it moves into the southeast and the central sides of the Bahamas. There'll be a lot of tailing moisture with it, and so we're going to stay wet for Puerto Rico. and Haiti and the Dominican Republic as well. Sorry, I got a little bit out of the way there, but you can clearly see La Cay and Port-au-Prince and Santo Domingo and Punta Cana, 70 to an 80% chance of showers. Same thing for the Turks and Caicos. Southeast Bahamas, Acklins, on over towards Mayaguana, portions of Cuba. Eventually we'll pull in some rain into the central and the northwest sides of the Bahamas. Now, still looking like a pretty good weekend for places like Freeport and Nassau and the Abacos, but some scattered showers will begin to return. And in general, the farther south that you go across the island chain, Cat Island, San Salvador, Exuma, Long Island, Crooked Island, on over towards the Acklins, rain chances will just improve the farther south that we go. All right. For my friends in Jamaica and the Cayman Islands, areas that have had a lot of rain lately, would expect to see a relatively quiet weekend with more moisture and rain returning on Monday. So for Kingston, Montego Bay, Negril, 20-30% chance for showers Saturday and Sunday. Here comes the rain again on Monday. About the same situation for Grand Cayman, Little Cayman, and Brac. Scattered to isolated showers of the weekend. Don't expect much, but rain chances will begin to improve as we get into our Monday. We'll stay relatively quiet again, even up towards the Yucatan. I put in a decent chance for showers for Cancun, but if you are vacationing in Cancun and Cozumel, let me be clear, I don't expect there to be a lot of direct impacts from Raphael, okay? Yes, as it gets a little bit closer, it could kick up the sea conditions, so monitor that. It's a very localized forecast, but as far as enough rain to really cause big problems, no, I think we're to be okay. And it'll be the same situation for Belize as well. Isolated to scattered showers, but many dry hours and locations through Quintana Roo and the northern sides of Central America. Again, it's a bit different situation when you get towards Nicaragua and Costa Rica and Panama. Very wet, flooding continues, heavy rainfall, 50 to 75 millimeters each day, 2 to 3 inches, with even isolated higher amounts than that. And the ABC Islands will continue with the opportunity for some scattered downpours. Not every day in these spots, but I'm telling you, Aruba, Curacao, and Bonaire, all with that opportunity through Monday. Just quick note here, and we'll look at what's going on with Bermuda coming up. But not a lot of rain for Bermuda, but a mid-latitude cyclone coming off the east coast of the United States, going to kick up some winds. And I'll highlight that coming up in the tropical outlook. Let's get into the rain forecast island by island. Building rain chances in the northwest Bahamas, but only up to a 40% chance by Monday. Highest chance for the central and southeast Bahamas as that broad trough comes in on Sunday, but decent chances Saturday and Monday as well. Turks and Caicos stay with an elevated chance. Scattered showers expected in Cuba, mainly on the eastern side of the island. Relatively dry for the Cayman Islands and Belize. Cancun and Cozumel, scattered showers, but hopefully not enough to cause any problems, really, changing any plans. Jamaica, 30% chance Saturday, Sunday, up to a 50 on Monday. Here's your wet weather, friends. 70-80% chance Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico each of the next 3 days. Watch out for areas of flooding. I'll be monitoring it, but of course, flooding is something that can quickly occur, so check in with your local officials, especially when flash flood advisories or warnings are issued. U.S. and British Virgin Islands stay on the wet side. Bermuda, again, relatively dry the next several days. It'll be about the wind more than anything there. Anguilla, 60% chance tomorrow, 40 Sunday, Monday. St. Kitts and Nevis, 60% chance for tomorrow, scattered Sunday and Monday as well. We'll see decent rain chances in Antigua, Barbuda, Montserrat, Guadeloupe at a 50% chance, higher a little bit farther south over the weekend. So Dominica, Martinique, 60% chance over the weekend, 50 on Monday. St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, 70 tomorrow, 50 on Sunday and Monday. Wet, potential flooding areas in Barbados and other areas of the Windward Islands for at least tomorrow, if not the weekend ahead. But moisture should trail off a bit, and that will allow rain chances to fall into Sunday and Monday. Scattered to numerous showers over portions of Trinidad and Tobago. Suriname and Guyana stay with higher rain chances. Nueva Esparta on the scattered side, and the ABC Islands, a 30% chance Saturday, Sunday, and actually a 40% chance on Monday. Okay, so now we're going to get into the tropical outlook. We're going to obviously talk about Raphael. We'll talk about this area, but another at least 1 or 2 potential areas as we get towards the end of next week. I've said it many times, friends, that I just think that the first half of this month is going to stay active, and the models continue to bear that out. I know we've really been focused on Raphael lately, but obviously on the back end of things here, I've been keeping a close eye on some of the more extended range models. Now, When I talk about extended, we're not going to have to go out more than a week to talk about another area of potential development. But first things first, let's kind of break down how Raphael should probably play out here for the remainder of his existence. And the good news again is I don't expect this to have another direct impact to any landmass during its time. You can clearly see, and I'll just take off these wind radii because again, they're so clustered together, that Raphael will slow up. The wind shear out of the southwest will begin to rip it apart, and it just becomes a very unorganized area of rain, even though the core of the storm may try and drift south and west. Some of the moisture, because of these strong southwest winds, could actually get pushed up to Louisiana and coastal Mississippi and Alabama. So it becomes a very elongated system from southwest to northeast. But again, unless it just tries to kick up a little bit of seas, that would be about it. You can see at the tail end here, it gets ripped apart. The low-level center tries to track here. You'll see that little bit of a broad spin here, and then that's it, it's done. Again, I can't rule out some showers along the Gulf Coast of Mexico and portions of Quintana Roo, but that would be about it. Now, as far as this area, we'll go back into time here real quick, and we'll start at the beginning. Again, really, the chance of this is going to develop would be very quickly, but I don't expect it to happen. It will bring in more moisture. We'll have some pockets of heavy rain for, again, not just the Turks and the Caicos and the Bahamas, but this is just a very turbulent time frame for the Eastern Caribbean in general and into the Western Atlantic. Just a lot of moisture, a lot of things happening. This mid-latitude cyclone that'll be coming off of the east coast of the United States actually pushes a little bit of rain back into this area as well. That's just another moisture feed. But as far as anything concentrated, really trying to wrap up here, no, I don't expect it. Hey, guess where we're going to look for the next potential tropical development area, right? I only give you one guess because it's the same spots that we've been watching lately, and that is in the Western Caribbean on the eastern side of the Central American gyre, the exact same spot that Raphael formed earlier this week. Okay? Inherent spin in the atmosphere with this Central American gyre, still plenty of higher sea surface temperatures and very little wind shear. So, on the GFS model, as we get into next Thursday, Friday, right? Next Thursday is the 14th. Next Friday is the 15th. You'll start to see that spin develop again in the Southwest Caribbean. Very familiar. Helene, Nadine, Raphael, all developed in this zone. Now again, regardless of development, look at all of the moisture it tries to throw back over the Western Caribbean, the Cayman Islands, Jamaica, Cuba, Hispaniola, even the Turks and the Caicos. Again, it's going to be another very wet time frame, but we'll have to watch for the potential for tropical development in this area. A couple of things I want to show you guys. I'll start off here with the wind. And if I just go out 7 days, again, so we're not even going out that far in time, right? Where the GFS starts to say, hey, by about day 6, by about next Thursday, we need to start watching for the potential for something to wrap up basically off of the Nicaragua and the Honduras coastlines. So if I pause this and I bring it back out into time, you'll start to see that spin, okay? And just like, and this would be late Friday of next week, and just like the last couple, that forecast of a somewhat north drift. Could it be north, northeast, or northwest? Absolutely. But this is an area to monitor. Going to show you guys, and you know I love this product, it's called the absolute vorticity, or the spin in the atmosphere. So I'm going to bring this up. When I'm looking at areas of potential tropical development, I like to use this product, and I'm going to take it out just a little bit longer in time. I like to use this product. Now, this is not spin right at the surface. This is a composite of the lower levels of the atmosphere. But it gives me a good idea of how potential development areas could play out and other areas down the road that I need to monitor. So if we start off from the beginning here, right? This is the broad spin over the Greater Antilles as we speak with that 10% chance. You can see that some of the energy actually gets pulled right over Cuba and then almost kind of gets absorbed by this mid-latitude cyclone. Other than that, if you look again here, you can just see that spin beginning to pick up a little bit of strength, and then by next weekend, there could be something to discuss as far as actual development. But just look at all of the vorticity here in the Central and the Western Caribbean, okay? Outside of that, here comes again that mid-latitude cyclone with a lot of wind. I do expect things to get just a little bit quieter here, not concerned about development in the Lesser Antilles, but once again, on the eastern side of that Central American gyre, there you go. Now, I did mention the winds for Bermuda, and before we get too far into the forecast, I did just want to talk about that real quick. So I'm just going to loop this up. Watch that mid-latitude cyclone right here come off the United States East Coast of Canada. You can see that right here. I mean, literally, this broad area might move right over Bermuda, but ahead of it, as we get into like tomorrow, it could be very windy in Bermuda. And then that mid-latitude cyclone comes right over, and then more fresh winds. Gale conditions in portions just north of Bermuda appear to be developing as we speak. That's a lot of wind energy in this area. So I just wanted to mention that as well. All right, let's get into the tropical models. First thing I want to start off with is the European model, deterministic in the Gulf, showing you about the same track as the Hurricane Center. Slowly moving west, weakening, and then diving south and west and dissipating. The European model, again, does not have this as a true tropical system moving back into Mexico. Kicked up the seas a little bit, but that's about it. Again, thankfully, because we have a Category 2 hurricane in the Gulf right now, and we're not focusing anymore on it. But it does look like it's going to fall apart, and that's great news. So this is the deterministic in a broader view. We'll see again the storm Raphael move away. Just in general, to show you again, as we get into next Wednesday and next Thursday, you're just going to see broad areas of spin. Now, the European model actually has a little system just north of the Lesser Antilles, kind of coming off of the instability from that mid-latitude cyclone. So I'll be monitoring that. But generally speaking, both the GFS and the European model are more aggressive in the Central and the Western Caribbean. These are the ensemble members, right? So we looked at the deterministic, the main model run, but we have various members that take into account just slightly different initial conditions to give us a little bit of a different look at things. And again, as we get into next Friday, you can see right along the Central American coastline, we have some signals of development there, a few in the central sides of the Caribbean, and just like the European deterministic has, the GFS ensemble has a couple on the northern side of the Leeward Islands, but a little bit higher signal here. If we look at the European ensemble members as well, obviously this is what's left of Raphael coming in. So as we get into, again, mid next week, you're going to see a few develop here, just like the GFS does. Now the storms that it tries to develop north of the Leeward Islands, it actually pulls north and east relatively quickly. Could be an active time period for the central and the northern Atlantic on the European model, but we would be more focused again on the central and the western sides of the Caribbean. And again, this would be a week from now, next Friday. So we've got the GFS deterministic, and we've got both the European and the GFS ensembles hinting at potential development in this area, the same spot that basically Raphael formed earlier this week. It certainly bears watching for the remainder of the week ahead. Now, we're going to be kicking up seas in a lot of different ways. There are the elevated seas with Raphael. That cyclone coming off of the U.S. East Coast, going to really pick up the wind and waves for Bermuda, portions of the eastern sides of the Bahamas as well. Again, probably just the offshore exposed waters of the Atlantic, but keep an eye out for that. And it's going to continue to elevate the surf and seas for the northern coastlines of Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands and a lot of the Lesser Antilles as well. Just watch out for those swells coming in. So we'll start off with more of an easterly surface wind, but as we get into late weekend and early next week, actually a bit of a northerly component to some of the wind there, and actually a little bit quieter in the Western Caribbean until the potential development zone in the Western Caribbean down the road. As far as rainfall totals go, I really think that this is one of the bigger stories. Just how wet it stays for the next week through mid-November. Just a lot of areas with very healthy rainfall, and we've already had some spots with too much rain to begin with. You can again see what's happening down in Panama and Costa Rica and portions of Nicaragua. Very wet, hopefully for the ABC Islands. One of the areas that could use more rain. The Lesser Antilles stay on the wetter side. Same thing for portions of the Greater Antilles as well. Just a lot of areas, friends, with 4 to 6+ inches of rain, 100 to 150 millimeters in some spots. I appreciate you guys. You can follow us across all social media. We're on Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook. You want to send me a picture or video, mymediamundo@gmail.com. As always, you have a specific question about the forecast, feel free to drop it in the comment section below. Happy to answer it there. And of course, while you're down there, thank you for liking and subscribing as well. Friends, have a great rest of your Friday. I'll be back soon with the latest. Until then, you have a great one, and I'll see you soon right here at Meteo Mundo.